What's up, guys? This is your boy Arrow. Welcome to Lunar Nation. Well, fellow guests Franz and Sagun. Thanks for joining Lunar Nation. We are going to illuminate many different topics that basically no one talks about. So, in today's episode, we are going to take a look into this fact, which is the 86,400 seconds. Basically, Sagun, what was it? As a theory, what was it? What was the last part of
I
it?
think it was the 86,400 second reality.
Yeah,
Reality.
yeah.
That's
Eighty-six
that
thousand.
sounds nice.
Exactly. So 86,400 reality. So many of you people who are listening to this episode uh, are gonna ask, what is the 86,400 reality? Well, every day you have 24-hour time span. And if you do that divided by the seconds, that equals to 86,400 seconds. We are going to talk about this fact and this reality and do a dive into like what is the meaning behind it, how can we use it, and what are we doing wrong every day that we don't realize is precious. Franz, let's start with you. In your opinion, what do you think about this 86,400 reality? What is it?
Well, I mean, looking at it from like my perspective and from what I've seen other people, is I think like everyone is like planning things ahead of time. Like, hey, this is what I'm planning by this end of the week, this month, blah blah blah. But I think we forget that the precious amount of time that we get is like the seconds and hours that we see in our day to day lives that I feel like go above our heads and are wasted. Sometimes I wouldn't say wasted, but are maybe not productively used. So what it goes to being is like we have 86,400 seconds in a day. No matter who you are, what you're doing, everyone in the world has 86,400 seconds. And actually, just to state it off, um, there's a quote. I don't know by who it was stated, but um, days are for dreamers, hours are for dry cleaners, minutes for telemarketers, but seconds are those that pursue life so passionately. So I feel like people that really take time and enjoy their day and really, I mean, I wouldn't say plan everything out, but um, are looking to make the most out of the day are what they are the ones that get the most value, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Franz is saying. So yeah, basically you gotta live with every moment and basically try to make positive out of it, the positive situation out of it because you never know when those seconds might end, something might happen. So you gotta be productive. You gotta make sure that you're doing things that, could benefit society or, help you as well, as a person to grow and to learn different things. So I totally do agree with this 86,400 second uh reality that we have to make every second count. What I
Y-
think.
Yeah, and like I think like who is it? Like for example, like Gary V. Like he's very he he like states how like people like, oh, we got to make things count, but do what you love and whatnot. And like I said, I mean, it's not about planning everything accordingly, but it's also about being productive and are using your time efficiently because like I said, if you're just planning for like people that are just planning for the weekend, well, you're planning for like 2 days when you have like 5 other days that you're basically saying that, oh, these are going to waste. And I'm just going to get through these days until I get to the weekend and actually plan out like what I'm going to do and this and that and whatnot. So I feel like it's just like a lot of wasted time. And I think Arrow, I think, did you see a video or wasn't an article that you read about someone that they said, imagine that these 86,400 seconds, don't look at them as time, but look at them as like as currency that you have $86,400 instead of seconds. But at like what was it like at the end of the day, like those dollars run out, so you have you know 24 hours to spend. What was that article or video that you saw about?
All right, that's a good question. So that article I came across back in college, and the person's name is Jay Shetty. And to give you a little background about the theory, basically what it means is like, so he was conceptualizing the 86,400 seconds into like a money currency, where he was saying, imagine every day you were given $86,400 in your bank account, and you know that tomorrow you're gonna get the exact same amount. How would you feel, and how would you spend it? Would you like care if I take $10 off your account? Would you be like dwelling on, oh, you got my $10, I want my $10 back, but knowing the fact that you're getting $86,400 the next day? So he mentioned that everybody has that capability. Everybody gets 86,400 seconds. And those are very precious because it doesn't come back. You can only use it, but you can never take it back. Like money, on the other hand, you can always spend and money will always come. Just depends on how much you work, or you know what I mean? It always comes
Yeah.
back. But that theory really got me really interested into like the concept because when I was in college, I read a book about Robert Kiyosaki. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad, where the concept was how um how most people in like the workforce are like basically like little hamsters in a bubble, and no matter how much they run, they have to constantly uh, use that time to make money. Where eventually that time will never come back, and that money will come, but it's not to a greater proportion where you're living comfortably. So I got really interested in this topic and did a little bit of research and found out like 86,400 second theories, not theory, reality is actually a really interesting concept because it's more about your life, your span, and what do you do. So if you wake up every day and I don't know, you watch TV and do this and do that, you're pretty much, I don't know in your own preference, but my preference, I think that's a waste of time.
No, I
Um,
agree.
yeah,
It's
and
total waste.
something cool to let you know. Did you know like about 24 to 26 years of your lifespan, you're just sleeping? So
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
yeah.
that in one of the articles.
I
Yeah,
think it's like you're spending pretty much almost like a quarter of your life is just for sleep.
pretty
yeah,
much.
and the average, I guess I think average time spent going to school is equivalent to either 2 years or 1.5 years of constantly day and night going to school.
Yeah.
And workforce is probably around 9 years. But after all of the deductions like TV, whatever you do, you're only left with 15 years to yourself. So
Oh,
even though you're living 100 years, yeah, so even though if you're living 100 years, after
You're
all
only
that, you
basically
only
getting
have,
like 15 years of free time to do whatever you want. Is
yeah.
basically what it comes out to
but
be.
no, but not everyone sees it that way. That's the thing, and
But
Well,
that's
you know what? I think that people are not looking at the bigger picture. I think people are looking at like what I was saying. They look at like the small picture. They're looking at like,
short
oh,
term.
let's look for the yeah, exactly, short term. Like, oh, the weekend, this and that. They're not looking at like, I mean, and
I
this
think
I wouldn't say it revolves around money because at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, everyone needs to work and make money to
yeah,
eat, pay their bills and whatnot. But like, I mean, there's some people that don't care about money. They're more about spiritual, or they just want to make enough to be comfortable, but then they can spend their time volunteering or traveling, or what I mean, doing something that they enjoy, or like small hobbies. But I feel like a lot of people miss out on this like concept where they're they're wasting this time doing things that are unproductive or not relative to their life, and by the time you know it, life goes by and flashes in the blink of an eye, and you look back like, oh, what did I do all this time? But
yeah,
really, I mean, if you break it down with the concept of like currency, because a lot of people are always like, you know people are, I mean, granted, there's a lot of people like that have like credit card debts and whatnot, but people really know, I mean, kind of know what they're spending their money on or what they're purchasing. So if you look at it as a value of currency, I feel like you'd be a little bit more responsible in regards to how you spend your time, because at the end of the day, time is the ultimate commodity, right?
exactly. Yep. Yeah, I just want to add something as well. I just feel like this is my viewpoint is that I just see that this is more of like a cultural thing, like looking forward to the weekend, like more of like an American culture because
Right.
everyone is like, what are you doing for the weekend? What are you doing for the weekend? So people live for the weekend. So they work in the weekdays, but then they want to have fun in the weekend.
Right.
That's
It's like
that's
it's
the
like really like
mentality.
it seems like it's actually like a first world issue. I mean, I wouldn't say issue, but it's like a first world thing. Like
It's
anywhere that's like all these developed nations, people
yeah,
have their their jobs lined up and secured,
exactly.
and everyone has like comfortable lives, and at the end of the day they work, they put in their time, and then they use the other time to relax or then
Yeah,
just
or
plan
have
the
fun,
weekend and do whatever. But
See, in the weekend, I feel like a lot of people just due to being stressed in the weekdays just want to relax. That's the kind of mentality that we have. I mean, I even feel that way too sometimes, like when you're just working, like, let's say 40 hours a week, right? And you're just like very, very mentally tired. Like, do you really have that motivation in the weekend to, make every second count? Or something
right,
like that. That's kind of what I was feeling. But I do get the idea that you do have to make it count, even though you're not motivated. You have to motivate yourself because you're not going to get the seconds back. But I feel like it's really hard as well. And if your friends aren't doing it, then I sometimes think from my perspective, like, why am I doing it? But
right,
that's
right.
just
You gotta
sometimes.
you gotta find a balance, and I think I don't know the correct science behind it, but I think and correct me if I'm wrong, because I believe Arrow knows it, but I think it's like, if you do something for 21 days or 31 days, it creates a habit, and then what I mean, you start doing habitually, and
Yeah,
it
it's
starts to
21
become
days.
a full time habit. You do it without even thinking, right?
Oh, that's an interesting topic on its own. So that actually came from a person named Earl Nightingale, and believe me or not, this recording was recorded in 1956. So I don't know, maybe your dad wasn't even born at that time, but this concept where Earl Nightingale goes over saying that most people on this planet do work just because they want to work. But then when you ask them why do you work, they have no answer because in reality they could say, "Oh, I want money," but is that the truthful answer? Like, are you working because you want to make money, or like what is your goal here? It's a deeper question. And yeah, he covers that spec where he mentions the 30-day habit where you do something and slowly it changes and you stick to it. And actually, come to think of it, his successor, Bob Proctor, covered that really well. Unfortunately, he just died maybe like 2 months ago or a month ago. But rest in peace. So that idea of like time and concept has always existed, and I just think most people don't realize it until I don't know when they're in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
That's when it happens.
On
Yeah,
their
I think it's not that like you make a good point. I think it's like maybe people don't. It's not that they don't realize it. I think they just don't want to. They just don't want to admit, or they put it off. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, this doesn't affect." I mean, it's like when you were a kid. I mean, when you were a kid, you didn't think about like, "Oh, what am I going to do for college? Where am I going to go for college? What am I going to do for a job? Salary, or am I gonna
Yeah,
start
no,
my own
no one
business?" You know what I
does.
mean? Like you're thinking
No
when
one
you're a
does.
kid, you're just thinking about like, "Yo, when's the next time I'm going to buy a new toy? Or when's the next time I'm going to play?" Or you know what I mean? You're just thinking about just doing stuff for fun. So it's like I feel like people. It's not like they 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 don't know about it. I think it's just not something that's really in their head. Most people, especially in our age, they get done with school, they find a job. Everyone's in a rush to either get married, buy a house,
Yeah,
go up the corporate ladder or start a business, and then by the time you know it, they're getting drained over here, drained over there, and then their energy is off put. And what I
exactly.
mean, again, it's not saying that you got to be doing every single second being productive, because at the end of the day you need to enjoy it, you need to relax. But it's like I feel like people don't really realize the amount of time that I wouldn't say that they're wasting, but they haven't taken full advantage of until probably later in life.
No, I totally agree, Franz, with what you said. And yeah, I just want to add something that I just thought of just right now is that, like, you know how, like, when you're young, you play with toys, you go to like elementary school and stuff, and then you go to high school, you graduate, everything, you go to college, you get a job. I just feel like everything is just so structural in a way that people like are expected to do this, so that when, I guess, when they come during that time frame, they'll do it at that, what I mean to say is, like, at that moment they'll do that specific thing. instead
Yeah,
of
it's like you're because I mean, technically, it's like school is like the way it was created. I mean, you're conditioned to be like become a work, which is nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because you can learn some valuable skills, and it's always good to be knowledgeable. But at the end of the day, I feel like experience is the ultimate knowledge. But
it is.
um, like yeah, with school, yeah, I mean, you are conditioned, to make sure you follow directions and take orders, and then I mean, you go to college, and then you get that 9 to 5, and take it up the corporate ladder and see where it takes you. And then by the time you know it, 4 years later, you're retiring, and then
Exactly.
you know what I
And
mean.
then you're gonna get a LinkedIn post, or you're gonna get a
Yeah,
letter,
you get a
or you
birthday cake,
a little birthday cake there,
and
and
the best
maybe
part is
you're
how Arrow puts it. You're gonna be how do you say you're gonna be like a ghost or a dust floating in the hallways, and no one's
All
gonna
right.
remember you.
That's not trying to sound depressing, but a little humor on it. So, uh, no. So if you spend 30 years of your lifespan working for a specific company, you spend 30 years of your lifespan knowing, I don't know, God knows, maybe two, three, and 400, 500 people personally. But then when you retire from so and so department, where you're gonna have like 30 people give you a cake, give you a hug, say, "Oh, thank you very much for your commitment for Department 11990 to column red, floor 5."
ILZ
Yeah,
floor
exactly,
23.
yeah,
exactly.
you gotta name all the specifics because
Yeah,
you're
and
just
then
basically a number.
then you're gonna retire. You're gonna get a cake, and yeah, that's your legacy. You're gonna get a cake. I mean, you cut that cake, you eat it, poof, you're gone.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's all that effort that you did, all
mhm,
that 40 years, 50 years of service that you did is just blown in one day. So like
exactly.
that's your legacy, like what Arrow is saying. So it's like,
So Sagun, here let me get back to something more interesting. The 86,400 is reality. Well, I just did a little bit of research. Sorry, I'm gonna edit what I originally said. So what happens is you actually sleep 30% of your lifespan, which is 28.3 years. Okay, that's constantly sleeping. You're basically a Snow
wow,
White. You're a Sleeping Beauty.
that's long.
Um, so 10.5 years, you're gonna be working like a mad dog player. Either a whatever you work, but you're gonna work for 10.5 years of your lifespan. Um, you actually, what's interesting is 9 years will be spent on TV and social media. So like you're just
See,
staring at nonsense.
exactly. And I feel like that's going to increase over time because of our
Exactly.
reliance on these social media and entertainment. And it's just gonna like I just feel like when you look at a chart, it's just gonna be a big curve that's gonna go as we get technologically advanced. So like with the metaverse and everything that's gonna come up as well, I feel like it's gonna make it even more for time purposes. And
Okay,
people are gonna get distracted as well. So
I have more. Hold up, let me finish it. This is interesting. So 6 years, you're gonna be eating and drinking for 6 years. You're just gonna be eating.
yeah, it's
Uh,
interesting when you put it in that perspective because you don't even realize that. I mean, you just eat and drink, like just freely, you don't really count the seconds or everything. But when you're seeing it that way, you're just like, wow,
yeah,
like
I
Big,
got,
you
big,
would,
big, 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 big boy.
I got,
yeah,
I got, I got five more things. Hold up, let me finish this. Um, so 2.5 years for you little beauties out there. Let me let you know that 2.5 years of your lifespan, you're gonna be staring at that mirror and trying to look beautiful. So that's 2.5 years. Um, Another 2.5 years is when you go out and you do specific merchandise shopping and clothes, TV, whatever. And then 1.3 years you're gonna be commuting. This is all data that's given from Jay Shetty, so I'm gonna quote him from all these data that I've got. But I feel like after all that, you're only left with 9 years. Nine
wow,
years.
only 9 years.
So if you were smart right now, as of right now, you could literally cancel out the TV and social media and save 18 years. And then if you're even smarter and you want to get out of the workforce and try to be, I guess, be outside the hamster bubble, you could save another 10.5. So that equates to 28 years. Hey, look at that. You
Yeah.
said 28
Yeah,
years?
but the one with the workforce is going to be hard because no matter what, everyone's going to have to put some sort of work. You know what I mean? Unless someone just like hits the lottery and just does nothing for the rest of their life. For the
Or is
most
an
part,
investor, or is an
yeah,
investor or something.
even investors are going to put time to
That is
do their
true.
research and whatnot. Which I mean for them, they might like it or whatnot, but again, it's still considered work because they're
It
not
is
doing
considered work,
anything.
but what I was thinking is that if you do the investment, I mean, this could be for another topic, but just wanted to mention it quickly, is that they might shorten their time for, like, let's say when they retire, so they have more time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like smart with your work
You're
or
way
like do
smart.
something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, your time might be shorter for work if you do something. If I mean, I don't know if you get like a high paying job or you do you have your own business and you end up selling it or you're making, passive income, then I'm sure then that time will be cut shorter, obviously. Um,
Yeah,
so you'll
exactly.
have more leisure time. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard. We're looking at this if like we're doing everything consecutively. That's why life is different. I mean, you're everything's different. You're sleeping for the X amount of time in a day, and then you wake up, you do something, you eat. You know what I mean? It's all broken down to because I mean we're just looking at the bigger picture. At the end of the day, everyone's there's not going to be one person that's not going to watch some sort of TV or some sort of social media. I mean, we're bombarded by it right now. We're
Yeah,
commuting, so I
you
feel like
can't escape it.
I
You
feel
can't
like
escape it. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's not something that you can go through life without now. I mean, unless you're like in some, I mean, developing country in like a third world rural country that has no electricity, and that's like a different story what we're talking about. But those people are probably more so working than I mean, spending leisure time and free time. But I think like with the main concept, like conclude it all in regards to the reality, I think it's like just a touch base on how like not a lot of people again not a lot of people realize how much time they have in on their
Franz, we have a
lives.
hard
And
time hearing you right now. You sound like you're 1,000 miles away.
can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Here, continue on. Let me see if I can reconnect my mic.
All right. Okay, guys. So as you know, Franz always takes a trip to Tatooine from Star Wars. So right now,
As you knew in the first episode.
exactly. So right now he has an appointment with Jabba the Hutt. No problem there. He
Yeah,
will definitely make it back. I don't know how speedy he will go, but we.
let's see if he's using his time wisely.
Anyway, so Sagun, check this out.
Can you
So
hear me
what
now?
is yeah? Okay, welcome
Oh,
back.
he's back.
Welcome back.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So we have this cool thing to just conclude. What do you guys think? What is more important, money, time, or health? Well, health is under time, so money or time.
Time. It has to be, because money you can get, and you can spend it and all that, but time you can't get back, like you said, right? And time, I feel like, is also linked under health, and I also prioritize my health as well, because health is wealth. Because if you don't have health, then you're not gonna probably live long, or a prosperous life. So I agree with time.
Okay, so
Mm,
it's time, then it's wealth, then it's wealth. So
yeah.
that's how the formula works.
My dude, you said it well twice.
No problem, no problem. It's okay. As we continue,
Wait. I need you to say it one more time because I believe you said two words twice. So what was it? It's time.
okay, so the formula is time equals wealth. I mean, I'm sorry, health, then wealth. So health should be your number one priority. Well, without health, you're not gonna have time, and you're dead. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
basically.
Exactly. So let's just put one last comment on this concept. Sagun, any last comments about the topic?
Yeah, no, just want to just I guess wrap it up and just say, like, you just keep like, your time is valuable, keep making sure that every second counts, and don't if you don't feel like motivated, just remember the thought that every second that you're going, you just can't, you can't just be like, next day be like, oh, I wish I should have done that, because it's already over.
Yeah, and
So,
don't dwell on the past. I feel like a lot of people that dwell on the past usually. I mean, I'm not saying look at the past, look at the past in a nostalgic way, but don't dwell on it as far as looking back and having regrets or looking back at looking at all the negative experiences that you have, because at the end of the day, it's just I feel like it's going to lead to more stress, which will waste your time and it's not good for your health.
Exactly. I totally agree.
There we have it. So we just covered the 86,400 reality. We're definitely gonna have a follow up on this, depending on what people are gonna comment on our episode. But until next time, please join us in our third episode as we are about to release. What do you guys think about that third episode? What is it gonna be? Do you guys have any idea, or we're gonna have to?
I think we'll keep it a mystery for people to I guess hear. So we want to keep it as a surprise.
Yeah, just make
Okay.
sure if you guys like the so far what we're talking about, or if the concepts are interesting, or if it like stimulates some activity for you in your process of thinking, then just yeah tune into our next episode, and then um, we'll see what we talk about there. Hopefully if
Exactly.
you guys like the previous episode and this one, then
Yeah,
come back and join us for the next one.
exactly. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to our podcast. Thank you.